You know this moment, you feel it right now, the weight pressing on your chest when you realize you're wasting time that will never return. There's an urgency buried under your excuses, clawing to get out. Laziness is a ghost you feed every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow. But tomorrow is a silent thief, and you are its willing victim. Why listen to this to the end? Because somewhere inside you, there's a fire you've let smolder for too long. You need words that will remind you that the clock is not your friend. It is a witness. By the end of this, you will remember. You have work to do that no one else can do for you. We mistake comfort for safety. We choose the warm blanket of procrastination instead of the sharp wind of action. But life is not designed to coddle you. It's designed to sharpen you. Every moment you stay idle, your dreams decay quietly in the corners of your mind. Look around. Everything moves. Rivers flow. Trees reach. Seasons turn. The universe despises stillness, yet you think you're an exception. You think you can stay soft and still, rise to your greatest vision. Impossible. Movement creates life. Laziness is death while breathing. Your laziness is not some monster lurking under your bed. It's a whisper that says, it's okay to wait. Kill that voice. Starve it with action. Replace comfort with discipline, not because you hate yourself, but because you respect what you can become. What are you hiding from? The fear that you might fail? Understand this. Failing while moving is far more honorable than rotting while waiting. Work makes you alive. Work gives your life shape. It turns your suffering into sculpture, your doubts into progress. Most people will tell you to find motivation, but motivation is fleeting. Do not chase motivation, build momentum. Take the smallest step. Right now, write one line, make one call, clean one corner of the chaos. Action will breed more action. Laziness withers in the face of momentum. Time is the only currency you can't earn back. Do you want to look back and see a wasteland of unfulfilled potential? Or do you want to look back and see that you used every ounce of your breath to carve meaning into your days? You have work to do. Work that will make you proud when the final moment comes. Do not betray that version of you who stands at the end of your life, hoping you made this moment count. Stand up. Move. Start. Kill your laziness. You have work to do. Laziness is not your enemy. Your misunderstanding of your own energy is. It's so easy to point a finger at laziness and call it the villain of your story. We curse it, shame ourselves for having it, and cling to the idea that if only we could slay this dragon called laziness, we'd be unstoppable. But have you ever wondered if the thing you're calling laziness is really something else? Maybe it's your own untamed energy, sitting there, waiting to be directed like a river with no banks. Water without form creates swamps. Energy without direction breeds stagnation. You were not born to be still. You were born to move, to create, to shape and reshape the world around you. Look at a child, how they move without permission, how they dance, run, build, destroy, rebuild, all in the same afternoon. That's not motivation. That's raw energy, alive and seeking an outlet. Somewhere along the line, you were taught to suppress that natural current. School told you to sit still. Society told you to wait your turn. Comfort whispered that you should only act when you feel like it. And so the energy you were meant to wield turned inward. It became a heavy fog inside you. You call that fog laziness. If you really saw your so-called laziness for what it is, you'd stop fighting it and start working with it. You'd see it as misdirected life force, a powerful potential that wants to move but has been boxed in by fear, distraction, or aimlessness. It's like owning a sports car and leaving it parked forever because you never learned how to steer. So you curse the car instead of learning to drive. People misunderstand their own energy because they misunderstand themselves. You think you lack willpower. You think you lack discipline. You think you're weaker than those who get up at dawn and run toward their goals. But you're not weaker. You're just untrained. Nobody ever showed you that discipline is not about crushing your spirit, but about channeling it. Discipline is not a prison. It's a riverbed for your overflowing mind. It gives your restless thoughts somewhere to flow, somewhere to shape something real. Without that, your energy sits in you like stagnant water, breeding self-hate, guilt, and more inertia. Laziness often hides unspoken truths. Sometimes it's exhaustion in disguise. The exhaustion of living a life that doesn't excite you. Sometimes it's a rebellion against the meaningless tasks you force yourself to do because someone told you that's what a responsible person does. So you lie on the couch, scrolling endlessly, half alive, half dreaming of a life where your energy is finally unleashed on something you actually care about. You have to be honest with yourself. Is your laziness really about being unwilling to work, or is it about having nothing worth working for? The mind hates meaningless struggle. It shuts down when the work feels like punishment, with no reward for the soul. So look deeper. What would you get up for, no matter how tired you were? What idea keeps nudging you at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep? That's where your energy wants to go. Your so-called laziness dissolves when you find work that makes your spirit sit up straight. Of course, there will still be days when you resist even the things you love. That's normal. It doesn't mean you're broken. It means you need to practice. Direct your energy like a gardener tending wild vines. Shape your days around rituals that remind your mind that it has something to serve. Start with something so small it almost feels ridiculous. A single push-up, a single page written, a single minute of silence, to hear your own heartbeat and remember that you are still here and capable. Stop trying to kill your laziness as if it's a monster. Understand it. It is your teacher, revealing where you've neglected yourself, where you've lied to yourself about what you want, where you've let comfort turn into a cage. Laziness is not your enemy. It is the shadow cast by your untapped energy. Light the fire, let it move you. Discipline is not the death of freedom, it's the instrument that sets your energy free. Next time you catch yourself sinking into that heavy stillness, don't curse it. Talk to it. Ask it what it really wants to do. Then stand up, no matter how small the action seems. Move with your energy, not against it. In that small motion, you'll find the truth. You are never lazy. You are powerful. You just forgot where to aim. You cannot outrun your dreams while sitting still in comfort. There's a strange illusion many people hold. The idea that somehow, by simply wanting something hard enough, it will eventually find its way to them. We tell ourselves that one day we'll wake up ready. One day the conditions will be perfect. One day we'll feel motivated enough to finally start, but that day never comes, because we remain seated in the same soft chair of our excuses, warming ourselves with fantasies of what could be, instead of stepping barefoot into the cold reality of what must be done. Dreams are not meant to be chased from the couch. They demand you stand up. They demand you get uncomfortable. The life you keep picturing when your mind drifts off during dull moments, that life doesn't respond to your longing alone. It responds to your motion, your sweat, your sacrifice. Comfort whispers that you can have both, the warmth of your familiar routine and the thrill of your wildest ambition. But that's the oldest lie in the book. Growth never blossoms where nothing is demanded of you. Nothing real ever came from the safety of inaction. Comfort is a beautiful poison. It lulls you to sleep while the clock ticks your moments away. It makes you believe you have time, that tomorrow will welcome you with open arms. But tomorrow doesn't care how much you desire to change. It only cares how much you move when your body wants to stay still, how much you rise when every bone in you wants to melt into the mattress for a few more hours. Dreams don't come to you, you go to them, bleeding your excuses out along the road. Sitting still doesn't just waste your time, it feeds a false story about who you are. You begin to think you're not capable. You convince yourself you're lazy, unworthy, unlucky. But the truth is simpler and more brutal. Too comfortable to be desperate enough to move. Sometimes life shakes us with loss, heartbreak or failure, and in those moments of pain, we finally understand what our comfort was costing us. In the ashes of disappointment, we see the raw truth. The work we avoided was the bridge to the life we wanted. Think about all the people you admire. Do you really believe they got there by wishing harder than you do? No. They acted when it was inconvenient. They moved when they were tired. They failed in public and tried again in private. They stepped into the cold rain of reality while you stayed by the fire of your excuses. There is no shortcut through this. There is no secret code. There is only the work you do when no one is watching. You want your dreams to change your life, but your life cannot change if you won't. Motion is the antidote to stagnation. Even the smallest step shatters the lie that you are stuck. It's not about running full speed every day. It's about refusing to settle for the warmth of your comfort when you know there is fire waiting for you out there in the cold. That fire is built from your effort, your courage to face discomfort, your willingness to trade ease for meaning. People say they're waiting for inspiration to strike. But inspiration does not come to those who wait. It visits those who are already working, already digging, already sweating in the quiet corners of their day. The muse loves momentum. It loves the smell of honest effort. It does not visit the couch potatoes. It sits with the builders, the doers, the ones who break a sweat on dreams that still look impossible. One day you wake up and realize that the dreams you wanted so badly have either faded into regret or transformed into reality through this simple, painful, beautiful process of consistent, uncomfortable action. The comfort you cling to now will one day feel like chains if you don't break them yourself. So stand up, even if your legs shake. Walk into the discomfort. Stay there long enough to feel your old self dissolve and something new emerge. Something stronger, clearer, more alive. Sitting still may feel safe, but it's the slowest death there is. Your dreams do not live in your head. They live on the other side of the work you keep avoiding. So get up. Do the thing you've been postponing. Trade your comfort for movement. Trade your excuses for a single, clumsy step forward. Keep moving. You can rest later, but now you have work to do. And your dreams will not meet you on that couch. They're out there, waiting on the road you keep refusing to walk. Discipline is not torture. It is an act of self-respect. Many people recoil at the word discipline because it conjures up images of punishment, harshness, and rigid control. They imagine discipline as a cold drill sergeant barking orders at their lazy spirit, forcing them to march through a life they'd rather escape. But that view of discipline is narrow and incomplete. True discipline is not a prison. It is not cruelty turned inward. It is a profound declaration that you care enough about your own life to take responsibility for how it unfolds. When you lack discipline, you hand over the keys of your life to chance, mood, and momentary impulses. You drift wherever the wind of distraction blows. You say yes when you mean no. You procrastinate when your soul begs you to move. Without discipline, you betray yourself in small, silent ways every day. You make promises to yourself you never keep, and with each broken promise, you erode your trust in the person you must rely on most. You procrastinate when you most broken promise. Discipline is the opposite of this self-betrayal. It is the way you prove to yourself that your word means something. When you decide to wake up early, to write the page, to lift the weight, to study the thing you said you'd master, and then you do it, even when you don't feel like it, you teach yourself that you are someone you can depend on, that quiet, steady self-respect is worth more than any fleeting comfort you sacrifice along the way. You don't discipline yourself because you hate who you are. You discipline yourself because you know there is something beautiful and strong within you that deserves to be shaped and revealed. A sculptor does not strike marble with a hammer to destroy it. He does it to free the statue waiting inside the stone. In the same way, discipline chips away at your laziness, your excuses, your fears, until your best self stands there in the open air, undeniable and real. People often say they want freedom, but they misunderstand what freedom really means. They think freedom means doing whatever they feel like in any given moment. But if you are ruled by every passing feeling, the desire to stay in bed, the urge to scroll endlessly, the craving for distractions, then you are not free at all. You are a captive to your weakest moods. Real freedom is the power to choose what serves you best, even when your feelings pull you in the opposite direction. Discipline is how you reclaim that power. Think of all the moments in your life when you felt truly proud of yourself. Were they moments of comfort? Or were they moments when you did something hard, something you didn't want to do at first, but did anyway? Pride doesn't grow in the soft soil of ease. It grows in the rocky ground where you struggle, where you show up for yourself when no one is watching. Discipline is how you water that soil. The beautiful irony is that the more you practice discipline, the more you come to see it not as a chain, but as a key. The early mornings, the repeated practice, the sacrifices, they don't imprison you, they free you from regret. They free you from the guilt that haunts the undisciplined mind. They free you from the panic of last-minute scrambles and the burden of wasted potential. Discipline is a gentle guardian standing between you and the chaos your mind creates when left unattended. No one becomes disciplined overnight. It is built choice by choice, day by day, slip by slip, Some days you will fail. You will hit the snooze button, skip the workout, put off the work. On those days, you must remember, discipline is not perfection. It is not cruelty for slipping up. It is the courage to return to your path without shame. It is the decision to forgive your past inaction and to begin again, this hour, this minute, this breath. When you choose discipline, you are choosing to live with intention instead of drifting aimlessly. My life is worth the effort. My dreams are worth the sacrifice. I am worth the promises I make to myself. That is not torture. That is love in its fiercest, most honest form. When you wake tomorrow and your bed feels warm and the world asks nothing of you, remember that you have already asked something of yourself, and that promise deserves your respect. Stand up, step forward, do the work. Not because you must suffer, but because you refuse to abandon the person you are becoming. That is discipline, and that is freedom. Excuses are elegant lies. Your mind tells you to stay ordinary. They wear 1,000 disguises, logic, reason, even self-care, and whisper sweetly that today is not the right day, that you're not quite ready yet, that you deserve to rest just a little longer before you do the thing you know you need to do. They wrap themselves in convincing words. I'll start tomorrow. I need to do more research first. I'm too tired today. I'll feel more motivated later. But behind each gentle excuse is the same old truth. You are letting your mind trick you into remaining exactly where you are. Excuses are comfortable because they feel true in the moment. They wrap you in a soft blanket of permission to keep sitting still. They give you a false sense of safety by convincing you that postponing your effort is somehow wise or necessary. But what they really steal from you is invisible until you look back. Lost time, wasted potential, chances that never come again. One excuse is small, harmless, you think. But excuses are like seeds. Plant enough of them and you wake up one day in a garden of regret, wondering where the days went. Your mind is clever. It knows how to protect you from discomfort. The moment you edge towards something difficult, the early wake-up, the workout, the writing, the risk, your mind flares with reasons why now is not the right time. It's not because you are lazy or weak. It's because your mind is designed to keep you safe. But your mind confuses the discomfort of growth with danger. It cannot tell the difference between a genuine threat and the simple stretching of your boundaries. So it offers excuses as protection. And you, believing them, stay ordinary. Ordinary is not a crime, but it is rarely satisfying. Deep down, you know you were not made to be ordinary. You can feel it when you're quiet and alone, that tug inside that says you could be more, do more, give more. But the mind is sly. It knows how to drown out that voice with distractions. It feeds you excuses so you can keep your bigger self locked away, safe from failure, untouched by effort. Every excuse has an answer. Too tired? Go tired. Too busy? Use the scraps of time you have. Greatness was built in scraps and stolen hours. Not motivated? Start anyway. Action breeds motivation, not the other way around. Not ready? No one ever is. The illusion of readiness is just another elegant lie. You become ready by starting, by stepping into the unknown before you have all the answers. Excuses will keep showing up. They will dress themselves in new costumes. Sometimes they will wear the mask of responsibility. I have to do this other important thing first. Sometimes they will disguise themselves as kindness. You should rest. You deserve it. Sometimes they will pretend to be logic. It's too late to begin now. I'll start fresh tomorrow. But beneath every mask is the same face. Fear of discomfort, fear of failure, fear of your own power. What would happen if you saw excuses for what they truly are? Not facts, not reasons, just soft chains that keep you from moving. Imagine what would shift if you refused to listen to them, even once. The moment you act in spite of an excuse, you break its hold over you. The more you do this, the weaker that voice becomes. You train your mind to see that discomfort is not death, that doing the hard thing is not a threat, but a doorway. Look at your life. How many dreams have you delayed with pretty excuses? How many ideas, conversations, attempts, and risks have died before they even had a chance to live? The tragedy is not that you failed. The tragedy is that you never let yourself fail, because you never started. Excuses are not protection. They are a slow suffocation of what makes you extraordinary. It is simple, but not easy. Call your excuses by their true name. Lies. Then stand up anyway. Move anyway. Act anyway. Do the thing. Imperfect, awkward, unprepared. Watch how your mind quiets when it realizes you are no longer fooled by its stories. Each small act chips away at the wall of excuses you've built around yourself. One day you will stand on the other side of that wall and see how much you could have been had you not believed the lies. No one escapes this. We all make excuses. The difference between the ordinary life and the extraordinary life is not lack or talent. It is how often you choose to ignore the excuses and do the thing anyway. Every excuse you silence is a step toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. And that person does not live in your mind's comfortable lies. That person lives in your actions. The universe moves, and you as part of it are meant to move too. There is nothing static about existence. Look closer at life itself and you'll see that movement is the law, not the exception. Stars are born and die in the endless swirl of galaxies. Oceans rise and fall in tidal rhythms. Trees stretch their branches toward the sun, shedding what no longer serves them. Your very breath is proof of this sacred motion. In and out, a constant exchange, and yet, despite all this, you cling to stillness, to the illusion that you can remain unchanged, while everything around you surges forward. Many people believe that staying still keeps them safe. They think that if they do nothing, nothing will happen. But life does not pause just because you do. Time does not sit beside you on the couch while you scroll through your days. It keeps moving, whether you join in or not. The tragedy is that when you resist motion, you don't stop life from happening, you simply stop participating in it. You become a spectator watching from the sidelines as days turn to years and your unlived potential hardens into regret. You are not separate from the universe's restless dance. You are made of the same dust as the stars, the same water that flows through rivers and veins. Stagnation is unnatural to your nature. When you do not move, when you do not act, when you bury yourself in comfort, your spirit begins to ache for what it knows it's meant for. Movement, growth, change. Think about your own body. When you sit too long, your muscles tighten, your joints stiffen, your energy dulls. You feel heavy, slow, disconnected from yourself. But when you stand, stretch, walk, run, you remember what it feels like to be alive inside your own skin. The same law applies to your mind, your dreams, your ambitions. When you don't exercise them, they stiffen too. They become stiff with fear, heavy with excuses, numb from neglect. Movement is not always grand or obvious. It can be as small as the decision to stand up when you want to lie down. to write one line when you feel uninspired, to speak one truth when silence would be easier. Every small motion builds momentum. Momentum is life's secret ally, the gentle push that carries you forward when your willpower falters. Many wait for motivation before they move, but the truth is simple. Movement creates motivation. The universe does not reward those who wait. It rewards those who meet it halfway. When you move, you align yourself with the same energy that spins planets and births galaxies. You open yourself to the flow that has always been there, waiting for you to join. People talk about feeling stuck, but stuckness is not a place. It's a refusal to move. The antidote is not found in waiting for better conditions, clearer signs, or perfect timing. The antidote is motion. Action dissolves stagnation, the way sunlight dissolves mist. There will always be reasons to stand still: fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of discomfort. But fear is simply energy that has nowhere to go. Move into it, and it transforms into fuel. The step you're avoiding is the same step that will break your paralysis. The action you keep postponing is the key that unlocks your next level of life. The universe has given you legs, lungs, ideas, hands, all instruments of movement. Use them. Look at nature again. A river that does not flow becomes a swamp. A seed that does not break open never becomes a tree. You too must break through the shell of your old excuses. You must pour yourself into the world through work, effort, attempts, even failures. Each act keeps you in rhythm with the universe's pulse. Movement is not about rushing blindly. It is about refusing to settle into inertia. It is about showing life that you are awake and willing to shape what is yours to shape. You do not have to know the whole path. You do not have to see the end. You only have to take the next step, and then the next. Each small movement is an act of trust that the universe will meet you in return. When you feel that ache inside, that restlessness, that dissatisfaction, do not numb it with distractions. Listen to it. It is your reminder that you are here to move, to grow, to push into your edges. To remain still while everything else dances is to betray the truth of what you are made of. So stand up, shake off the heaviness, speak the words, write the page, take the risk, move with the universe that made you, that lives through you, that waits for you to remember. You were never meant to sit still. You were meant to join the dance. Action transforms chaos into meaning. Think about how often you sit in the tangled mess of your thoughts. Worries about the future, regrets about the past, ideas swirling so wildly in your mind that you can't tell where one begins and another ends. This mental chaos is a natural part of being human, but it becomes suffering when you stay trapped in it, doing nothing. The mind left to itself is like an untamed jungle. The longer you sit still in that jungle, the thicker it grows, the darker it feels. Yet the moment you take action, even the smallest action, you begin to carve a path through that wilderness. You prove to yourself that not every thought needs to be solved in your head. Some thoughts only reveal their truth when you do something with them. A plan sketched on paper, a conversation initiated, a task begun, however imperfectly. Action gives form to what was formless. It turns vague worries into clear steps. It turns dreams into tasks, and tasks into outcomes. Without action, Ideas remain ghosts. With action, they become substance. People often think they need clarity before they can act. But the truth is, you find clarity by acting. If you wait for the perfect plan, the perfect mood, the perfect certainty, you wait forever. Action pulls you out of the fog. It doesn't guarantee that everything will go smoothly. It guarantees that you will be in motion, learning, adjusting, discovering what works and what doesn't. Every step you take untangles a little more of the knot in your mind. Chaos loves inaction because it feeds on your fear. The longer you stay paralyzed, the more monstrous your problems appear. A simple phone call turns into an unbearable anxiety. A blank page becomes a mountain you're convinced you can't climb. But the moment you start, dial the number, write the first awkward sentence, the mountain shrinks. Action shrinks, fear, because fear is just potential energy with no outlet. Life is not meant to be perfectly tidy. It will always be a bit messy, unpredictable, and beyond your complete control. But when you move, you shape that mess. You take the swirling dust of ideas, doubts, and possibilities, and mold it into something you can touch, see, or share with the world. Action is how you co-create with life itself. It is your declaration that you refuse to be a passive observer, drowning in what-ifs and maybes. Look at the moments in your past when you felt proud of yourself. They were not moments when you sat thinking about what you could do. They were moments when you did something, even if it was small, even if you were scared, even if you didn't know what would happen next. The meaning you felt afterward came not from perfect results, but from the simple fact that you moved. You acted. You stepped into the storm of your own mind and found something solid under your feet. Action does not erase chaos entirely, but it gives it shape. It builds bridges across the swirling river of your uncertainty. Each step is a plank laid down where there was nothing but rushing water before. The more you act, the stronger the bridge becomes. Soon, you look back and realize that the place that once terrified you is now familiar ground. You crossed it not by wishing it away, but by putting one foot in front of the other. There is no substitute for this. No thought is powerful enough to replace the reality of doing. Reading books, watching videos, listening to advice, these can inspire you, but they can't walk for you. Only your feet can do that. Only your hands can shape the work. Only your courage can turn your chaos into something useful. When your mind feels like a storm, remind yourself, thinking more will not calm it. Doing will. Start small, start badly. Start when you don't know how. The mess will not clear all at once, but each action pulls a thread from the tangle. Soon, threads become lines, lines become patterns, and the confusion you feared becomes a map you drew with your own two hands. If you want meaning, act. If you want clarity, act. If you want to quiet the noise inside, act. The work you put off today is not just about tasks undone. It is meaning delayed, life delayed. Action is not punishment for your comfort. It is the doorway out of your confusion and into a life that makes sense. When your mind grows too loud to bear, do not sink deeper into thought. Get up. Your mind grows too loud to build within it. Chaos was always yours to choose. Action was never. The chaos was never the enemy. In action, was always yours to choose. Action. Action. Time will not wait for your hesitation to end. It moves whether you stand still or run, whether you waste it or honor it. This is the silent truth that so many try to ignore, that every second you spend doubting, delaying, or overthinking is a second you'll never see again. People imagine that time is patient, that it will stand by their side while they sort out their fears and excuses, that somehow tomorrow will stretch its arms wide to welcome their delayed dreams. But time is indifferent. It doesn't care about your excuses, your moods, or your worries. It keeps flowing, with or without your permission. There's a dangerous comfort in thinking there's always more time. You tell yourself you'll start next week, next month. When you feel ready, when life calms down, when the perfect moment arrives. But the perfect moment is a fantasy. Life never calms down the way you imagine. New distractions arrive, new problems appear, and all the while time slips away quietly. A steady stream carrying pieces of your potential out to sea. You can't negotiate with time. You can't beg it to return what you squandered. You can't plead for more of it once you see how much you've lost. The harsh truth is this: what you don't use, you lose. The dreams you keep on a shelf, the words you never speak, the work you promise yourself you'll do someday, time erases them while you're busy hesitating. And when you finally wake up, you're left with a bitter taste. Regret. The interest paid on moments you could have seized but didn't. Hesitation is a cunning thief. It pretends to be caution. It dresses itself as wisdom, telling you it's better to wait until you're sure. But most of the time, hesitation isn't careful planning. It's fear pretending to be logic. It's the mind's way of staying safe inside familiar discomfort. You tell yourself, I'm not ready. But readiness doesn't fall from the sky. It's built in the doing. Action reveals readiness. Action creates competence. You find out what you're capable of only when you stop waiting and start moving. People look back on their lives and often regret what they didn't do more than what they did. They remember the times they stayed silent instead of speaking, stayed seated instead of standing up, stayed still instead of stepping forward. They wish they had been braver, not more careful. They wish they had known that time would not stand still for them to muster the courage they kept promising themselves they'd find. You think you're protecting yourself by waiting. You're not. You're just trading the discomfort of action for the poison of regret. The longer you wait, the heavier the cost. The task you put off today becomes tomorrow's anxiety. The conversation you avoid becomes a wall between you and someone you love. The dream you delay becomes a ghost that follows you, reminding you of the life you could have lived if only you dared to start before you were ready. Time doesn't care how young or old you are, how prepared you feel, or how valid your reasons sound in your own head. It simply moves. And if you're wise, you'll move with it. You'll see that hesitation is a luxury you can't afford. The question is not whether you should wait. The question is how much more of your life you're willing to waste, pretending that you have the privilege of endless tomorrows. There is freedom in facing this truth. When you accept that time will not pause for you, you stop looking for perfect conditions. You stop waiting for fear to vanish. You understand that fear never goes away. You just outgrow it through motion. The only way to beat hesitation is to act in its presence. Not recklessly, but decisively. Not perfectly, but willingly. A moment wasted in hesitation is a moment that could have been a step. A single step may seem small, But enough small steps create a path. Enough paths create a life you're proud of. A life where you use time instead of being used by it. A life where you don't look back wishing you'd had the courage to begin. When your mind tells you to wait, to stall, to sit and think a little longer, stand up instead. Do the thing. Make the call. Write the page. Learn the skill. Speak the words. Take the chance. Let time find you in motion, not paused. Let it see you becoming, not hesitating. Time owes you nothing, but you owe yourself everything. And everything begins when your hesitation ends. Not by magic, but by choice. Choose now. Choose forward. Time is moving. Move with it. You owe the world the work only you can do. Wake up and deliver it. This is not just a nice idea to comfort you when you feel insignificant. It's a responsibility woven into the very fact that you exist. You are here for a reason, not in some vague mystical sense, but in a deeply practical one. There is something in you, a mix of talent, perspective, pain, lessons, and voice that nobody else has, nobody else ever will. If you do not bring that work into the world, it dies with you, and something beautiful, something needed, never gets to exist. Most people live as if their contribution is optional, as if it's fine to keep their gifts locked away, polished but unused, like expensive china hidden in a cupboard for a special occasion. But life is the occasion. Right now is the invitation. There will never be a more perfect time than this very imperfect moment. The world doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be brave enough to give what you have. You might think your work is too small to matter. A line of poetry, a painting, an invention, a business idea, a kindness, a story, a new way of solving an old problem. But think about the things that have moved you, healed you, inspired you. Often they are small things made by people who didn't know you and will never meet you. Their work rippled outward, crossing borders, crossing decades, crossing lives. Your work can do that too. But only if you stop hoarding it inside your mind and your heart. Your hesitation doesn't just hurt you, it deprives others of something they might desperately need. There is someone out there right now who needs your words, your solution, your courage, your light. Someone who is waiting for proof that it's possible to begin when you feel unready. When you show up for your own calling, you give others silent permission to do the same. Your work is never just yours. It's a thread in a vast web of connection you can't even see. Too many people waste their short time here, burying their gifts under excuses. They wait for approval. They wait to feel good enough. They wait for the fear to go away before they start. But fear is not a sign that you shouldn't do the work. It's proof that the work matters. The more important it is, the more resistance you'll feel. That resistance is not a wall. It's a compass pointing you toward the very thing you must do. You do not owe the world perfection. You do not owe the world a masterpiece on the first try. You owe it your effort, your willingness to stand in the light, flaws and all. You owe it your progress, your attempts, your lessons shared openly. The work that changes lives is not the work that's hidden until it's flawless, is the work that's offered honestly as it grows. Your excuses will sound noble. You'll tell yourself you're waiting until you know more, until you practice more, until you're sure people will love it. But all you're really doing is protecting yourself from the risk of failure and the sting of judgment. Here's the truth. Someone will always judge you, no matter how carefully you hide or how well you perform. So you might as well stand up and be judged for something real, something that mattered enough for you to try. Every day you hold back your work is a day lost forever. The chance you pass up today might not come again. The idea you have now might fade if you don't give it life. Inspiration is not endless. It visits those who prove they'll act on it. If you don't, it moves on to someone else who will. Imagine reaching the end of your life and realizing you never delivered what was inside you. Imagine the weight of all the things you could have made, shared, spoken, or changed, still locked inside your bones. Regret is heavier than failure. Doing it badly is lighter than never doing it at all. Wake up. Wake up to the truth that you are not here just to consume, to drift, to wait. You are here to build, to shape, to give. You are here to add your note to the song of the world. Stop convincing yourself that you can hide forever. You can't. Time is moving. Your gifts are waiting. The world is waiting. Stand up and do the work that only you can do, flawed, imperfect, alive. The world needs it. And so do you. When you strip away every excuse, every hesitation, every fear disguised as logic, what remains is the simple truth. You have work to do, and no one else can do it for you. Laziness is not your nature. It's a mask for energy left unchanneled. Comfort is not your ally. It's a trap that dulls your spirit. Excuses are not your protection. They're thieves stealing your moments, your progress, your life. You were born into a universe that never stops moving. The stars burn, the rivers flow, the seasons shift, and you too were designed to move, to create, to shape the raw material of your days into something meaningful. You will not find clarity waiting for the perfect moment. You will not find freedom by sitting still while life drifts past you. You will not find fulfillment hiding from discomfort. The only way out is through discipline that feels like self-respect, through action that slices chaos into purpose, through small, imperfect steps that become a life well lived. Time will not slow down for you. It will not pause so you can gather your courage. It is moving now. You owe it to yourself to rise each day and remember. You were never meant to watch your own story from the sidelines. You were meant to shape it with your hands, your effort, your imperfect courage. So kill the laziness, shake off the excuses, silence the hesitation. There is work to be done, your work. Stand up, begin. The universe is already in motion. Go meet it.